what next? What's going on? Episode number 1, November 1st. Gonna be clunky as shit. I already know it. What's going on? My name's Neil, and this is my thing. So whatever it's gonna turn into be, a fun project. I've been saying I'm gonna start this for too long, and it's just getting annoying to myself. Keep saying I'm going to keep doing something over and over again and not doing it, which is kind of this whole theme of this podcast slash video segment slash whatever you want to call it. Brought to you by Library Coffee. I don't endorse it. It's probably the worst cup of coffee I've ever had in my life. But hey, they're sponsoring. It's free. So a little bit about me. Get started. I'm 27. I grew up in lovely Parma, Ohio. For those of you who do not live in Ohio, that is about 5-10 minutes away from Cleveland. Yes, I know LeBron left, but we still got one. That's all I could ask for. It's the most common question everyone asks when no one knows where Cleveland is. Or Parma is, I'm sorry. Because, LeBron left. Oh, how are you feeling? Blah, blah. We know the Cavs are going to suck. Whatever. It is what it is. Grew up here my whole life. Went to college in Toledo. Played football there for 2 years, and then, like most black people, I got my girlfriend pregnant and had a lovely daughter, and 4 years later I decided, hey, let's do it again. It didn't decide to, it just kind of happened. And now I have 2 lovely daughters, both 6 and 2, 2 beautiful little things that are going to give me a heart attack by the age of 45. But it's neither here nor there. A little about me. Let's see, for a living, I bartend. Actually just came back from a job in Hawaii where I was bartending on a cruise ship. And any of you out there who have ever bartended on a cruise ship, you know, never again. Don't do it. I don't know. Hawaii was beautiful, but the job in itself, living quarters, food, oh my gosh, it was prison food half the time. It was not a fun time, but I'm all about experiences, trying new things, doing new things, and just living your life. Trying to live your life to the fullest. Because why else would you live your life if you wake up every day wondering or questioning or thinking I want to do something and not putting action to it? Why even get out of bed, honestly? Let's see what else. A little bit about this podcast, about this endeavor, whatever, what have you. I want to go into a lot of topics ranging from everything, comedy, social issues, health. I want to do live interviews, everything else. I didn't want to go live this first one, but I probably could have because I'm not going to edit any of this out. So what you see is what you're going to get, and we're just going to roll from there and see how it goes. But like I said, a bunch of topics, health. I guess we'll get into some religious stuff. I mean, it'll probably come up just in random topics that we talk about. And like I said, I want to have guests on, and we'll get a little more elaborate. We'll get some things going and see where it goes from there. But first thing I want to talk about is something I'm trying to do for this month. And start of November, a little bit, actually, let me backtrack, a little bit about today. November 1st. There's a lot of firsts A lot of things. People make New Year's resolutions. January 1st comes around. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. What happens? You stick with it for 2-3 weeks. You buy that new treadmill. You get those new skinnier clothes that you say you're going to wear, that you're going to work yourself into. And about 2-3 weeks later, what happens? Nothing. Same results. Same every time. I swore. Every resolution you make kind of breaks it. What have you. So instead of waiting till January, I wanted to start today. And I'm a very intellectual person. I have a higher than most IQ, I guess you could say, but IQ really doesn't matter. It's all about EQ and honestly and how you treat people and honesty and a bunch of other factors. You know, how you treat others. I judge you. I don't really judge you, but I define you more on how you treat your fellow man, because you never know what people are going through in their life. And just your simple kind actions, your simple gestures, taking your time just to say hi to someone. I'm sure we can all trade stories and have stories of people going out of their way for you, and that's what things I will judge, quote unquote, on. But going back to November 1st, I like to look at words and meanings and stuff, and I went online and Googled. It's everyone's favorite term now. Google it. No-Vember. So I literally broke it down from no, meaning not to, don't. Obviously, everyone knows that. And Vember. And I couldn't really find, there's no real word, Vember. I found some Urban Dictionary topics, but I mean, it's not really that compelling or holding ground to what I want to use it for. But I found a website on Kabbalah, so don't quote that either, but I'm just using it for this instance. And it's a name, actually. It's an old English name is what they said. And some of the things said your ideas can be very original, attentive. You enjoy being around people in social environments. Your pleasant manners attracts people to you with the problems. You're capable of offering practical advice, but you would probably not follow such advice yourself. That's a huge thing for me and myself, and honestly, a reason why I'm doing this little podcast, webinar, whatever you want to call it, because just to kind of keep myself in track, because I can give the best advice to people, no matter what kind of situation I'm having myself personally. I could give pretty good advice, practical advice, things you can do with your situations. And actually, I think of it kind of as me talking to myself and saying, this is what you need to do. And so that's why I think when I try and give advice, it's not like I know everything, or it's not like I'm trying to preach to you or to whoever, but I'm really talking to myself. So, and especially if I'm talking to you and I'm asking you what's going on, how are you doing, or tell me about something, I'm genuinely interested. So I'm going to give you a genuine response of if I put myself in this situation. And honestly, we'll get into this later on, deeper into everything else. But I've lived a very, I want to say problematic, that's a bad word. I've lived a life, we'll just say that I could probably put myself in a situation that you have been in and have sort of made it out, I guess you could say. Made it out, it's not really a good term to use, but I've dealt with situations, obviously not all good all the time. A lot of the times I self-sabotage, as a lot of us do, drinking, drugs, other stuff, I mean, just to kind of avoid the situation. But really, you're not avoiding anything, you're just delaying the problem that's still in front of you and not dealing with it. So I kind of now like to tackle things head on and go from there. Don't delay everything. So going into that as well, the word Vember, Some other definitions. This name causes you to be somewhat too concerned with the personalities, problems, and activities of other people. Social media. What greatest example right there. Everyone's being too concerned about everyone else instead of being concerned with yourself. Everyone's too worried about what others are going to think of you, or not getting enough likes, or like the superficial, self-conscious BS of people's egos and ids and personalities. And I don't know. That's why I really don't like social media in that aspect, because that's how a lot of people are using it, to curb some lonely feeling maybe you're not getting from home, or you didn't get from a mother or father, and it's kind of like the banking situation in America, and the stock market is about to take a huge dip very soon. When I say very soon, probably the next 12 to 18 months. You can kind of already see it in the housing market. Everything's so propped up and inflated. But we're not going to get into that. It's kind of boring. But for a different topic, a different show. But it's kind of putting similarities into real life situations of people's lives. And everyone's just too worried about likes and looks and how my ass looks and what guy says this or what girl says something, and it's going to ruin my whole day. Well, it really doesn't matter what I say, what that person says. It only matters what you think, honestly. You can let people talk. And people love to talk. I mean, I love to talk too. But I keep a lot of my opinions to myself, unless you're a friend or you've asked me, and I'll tell you the truth. And a lot of people can't handle that. And funny stories about people can't handling the truth, and kind of me losing my longtime job, which is a whole story in itself, which we can get into another time. Which I actually made a audio version of this story with a couple of friends, Brian and Nick, and that's just a drunken mess. So maybe we'll put that up. We'll see. I'll have to go back and re-listen to that. But anyways, talking about what are some other definitions? Procrastination is your downfall. You seem positive and decisive and can be outspoken in your expressions and opinions, but you lack self-confidence. You need to follow through with your plans or ideas. And once again, procrastination is your downfall. So I kind of found it fitting, since it is November, and to take that word, No-Vember, and break it up into no more Vember, no more procrastination, no more worrying about what other people think. I think that's huge in whatever you do. Whatever dreams or goals, they can be big or small. It doesn't matter what it is. No more talking, no more BS, no more saying you're going to do something, which led me into another topic of, I wrote, the more ideas you say you have or come up with, I honestly feel that it creates laziness, because you think, oh, well, I have all these ideas, and you can have legitimate good ideas, but with no action, you're just creating laziness and excuses of why you don't do them. And you fall into a rut and nothing ever gets done. Honestly, that's kind of like where I have been. And I go through it day to day sometimes. Not really day to day anymore so much. But everyone has their bad days. But some weeks you'll get 13 things done that you've checked off and wrote on a list. Other days you'll look at that list and not know where to start. But No-Vember, no more laziness, no more procrastination. It's exactly why this is happening right now. It's because I said no more saying I'm going to do something, no more putting it off. I've had a lot of people tell me, not a lot, it doesn't even matter. They'd be like, oh yeah, I definitely listen. Send me the link. Random people on other social medias. just saying, oh yeah, when you get it up, send me the link. And I do the same thing to other people to just spread positivity and creation and doing things. Um, you can't judge anything, or you can't have a feeling about something if you don't put something out there. So I could have the best idea. I have actually a really good idea for, well, I don't really actually want to say, but anyone who, and I've been looking up different things, but anyone who's created anything before, and has gotten a patent on something, leave a comment, leave a message, hit me up, social media, Instagram, what have you, about how you did it, and I'd be greatly appreciative for that. But it has to do with health, hygiene, and the gym, which in itself will be a whole nother issue. But today, just like with the gym, I'm a pretty avid workout aficionado, I guess I could say. Very big into health and diet. Yeah, I don't have the cleanest diet per se, but I go through stints where I do ketogenic diets. I usually always do some sort of intermittent fasting, which is, if you're new to, that's a new term to you, or you don't really understand. Intermittent fasting means eating for a certain period of time, they say usually about 8 to 10 hours, and then you fast for 10 to 12 to 14 to 16 hours to reset your microbiome, a bunch of other health benefits that we're not going to go into right now, but definitely look it up, intermittent fasting. I definitely suggest doing that. It's a lot easier, I think, after, like, the first couple days, the first 2 days might be very hard. Third day, I think, is when you start to get into a good rhythm, and is when you really don't even think about it. You don't think about waking up hungry, which is a good thing, because you're not eating for pleasure anymore, which is another huge thing in America. People eat for comfort, and people don't realize the chemical compound of food is affecting your moods too, which we can get into detail later. But people don't really realize that all this sugar, all these carbs, all this crap that they're putting into their body can actually be the reasons why they're feeling tired, they're sluggish, that insulin dump you get after you eat a big meal, and you just feel like blah, just a pile of whatever, a lot of it could be health or food related, with leaky gut, and that's a whole new buzzword, new big term, and it's basically just having your gut microbiome all out of whack and causing inflammation in other places. Talk about inflammation too. I have psoriasis, which is a strictly like inflammation-based autoimmune disease, and that's kind of fueled my curiosity and research, because I want to try and cure this without drugs, without anything. Because you go on a website for anything, or you watch a commercial, they'll have, side effects may include fever, nausea, headache, loss of balance, blood loss, death. I mean, when you say death, well, I'd rather live with it than take a pill and die possibly from it. But I just wanted to find a more natural, holistic way to do it, and that kind of brought me down to the road of food, intermittent fasting, what to eat, what not to eat, what triggers inflammation, and pretty much everything. Inflammation is good and bad for your body, obviously, and when it's in control, and other things to worry about with inflammation, and that's a whole another. I could spend hours talking about all that stuff. But getting back to the gym and health, gym wise, today I worked out, and I was in that No-Vember mood, and I just said I'm going to do 100 squats today. And I wish I would have taken a video, but I mean, whatever. I mean, believe it or not, whatever. I mean, my legs are jello right now, and I can't move, which is also why we'll get into it in a second. But it was just more of a mental thing for me. I was saying all day that I want to do 100 squats. I kept saying it, I didn't waver. I wasn't thinking of, oh, how hard this is going to be, or, oh, well, maybe I could just do like 50 or not. No, I had the whole mentality, the whole mindset of I'm going to do 100 squats, and got to the gym. Like always, did a killer ab workout, which I will post in the link below. We'll post to YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, any kind of social media you can find me. It's about a interval routine where you start out with just simple crunches, and then it leads into a 2-minute plank at the end. And you go through about 6-7 different ab exercises, and it might take you about 20 to 25 minutes. But breaks are as needed. You can take as short or as long. I like to take a little bit longer breaks just to work on low intensity training, LIT as we'll call it. Everyone talks about HIIT, high intensity interval training, but there's different reasons why I don't like to do HIIT exercises. There's been some studies that show cardiovascular health and other things of that nature don't really benefit as much. Well, they do. I don't want to get on a tangent. I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor, but there's kind of a cap to how much HIIT can help you, and if you actually have certain genetic markers, certain DNA, all of that high intensity training can actually be more detrimental to you later on in life, or now creating more oxidative stress or anything else. But like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical physician. It's just things that I read, and people that are way more advanced, people like Dr. Rhonda Patrick, Ben Greenfield, and then reading case studies, stuff like that. So you can go to their podcasts. They will tell you ad nauseum way more medical terms and actual reasons of these things. But like I said, I like to do a little more low intensity training. Also, not to overstress your muscles, just to kind of build up that energy. Because I mean, you kind of get the same results from working out, depending on what you want to do. Obviously, if you're looking to bulk, then longer rest periods and times, gaining size, burning less calories is what you want to do, that low intensity training. Or if you're looking to get your cardio, quote unquote, in with your lifts, do some HIIT workouts. Burn a little more fat, get your heart rate up, such and such. But yeah, going back to it, I could have, well, let me stop there. Having the mindset that I had today of just doing 100 squats and doing them, I think was very beneficial. And another day, I want to try that. I want to kind of do a little experiment on myself where I go in with the same mindset and mentality. And by the way, it was only 135 pounds. But go do it 100 times and you'll see the same results as doing a half-assed 315 squat, going down halfway, messing up your knees, compressing your back, such and such, whatever. Terrible form, don't even get me started. But I want to go in one of these days this week and go in saying I'm going to do 100 squats, and then feeling complacent only doing 30, and seeing how much more difficult it may actually be, like patting myself on the back and then maybe only doing 40, 50, and just getting that idea that, oh, well, I already did 100 the other day. No, today I only did 50, and that's fine. I want to see if that mentality makes the workout actually harder or not. I'm sure it will, but I just want to see exactly how much harder it may or may not make it. And I think it's a whole big thing with mindset and mentality. and just getting things done, going back to the whole No-Vember thing. Stop the excuses. No more talking, no more noise, no more outside influences. Just getting it done, doing it. Let's see what else. Oh, diet. That's another huge thing. Like I said, I was talking about, I like to know what I'm eating, know what I'm putting in my body. Obviously, everything organic is way better for you. But right now, we are not on a health kick, I guess you could say. We are doing and I guess you can join along too, and doing just kind of like a case study, because that sounds too involved, but I'm just doing something where I eat the same thing for a week, and I'll document my weight, how many fats, proteins, carbs I'm eating in a day, because it's really that's really what I look for. Calories, not so much, but I might actually a little bit, especially after a workout today like I may have burned over 1,200 calories with everything I did with this ab workout and squat routine. So it's a reason why I chose to do one diet as opposed to the other that I wanted to do. So this week is the all Chipotle diet. Ooh, everyone loves Chipotle. I'm not really looking for, like I said, health benefit. So I'm just going to see how my body reacts to eating anything, and there's no restriction of it. But obviously no sugars, no alcohol, anything like that. But I'm not restricting myself to cheese, the sour cream, dairy, the flour tortillas. I'm not trying to go gluten-free. Although gluten is another big issue, and actually everyone is allergic to gluten. Our bodies are not made to break down gluten, and there are actually supplements. One I know called Gluten Guardian, which actually breaks down gluten, pasta, breads, anything like that, before it even gets in your stomach. But like I said, we're not really worried about the health aspect of everything right now. We're just seeing how my body reacts, how I feel, what I get benefits from the gym, my sleep, everything like that. But we're still going to be doing a 16-hour intermittent fast. So what I do, I'll have my last meal. I try and eat my last meal around 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So I'll start that 16-hour timer. So from 8 to 8 is 12, and then I won't eat until about 12 a.m., which gives me that 16 hours. So then from 12 a.m. to about that 7:30 to 8 o'clock range is my feeding time. So anything goes, nothing restricted. But then I just stop eating at that 8 o'clock cutoff, and then just do it all over again. It's very simple, like I said before. Once you get into a good routine, it's pretty easy actually. So I definitely recommend looking that up. I wouldn't start doing 16 hours because it is kind of a long time, but just start doing something like 14, like a 14-10, and then working your way down. Then maybe go 15-9, 16-8, etc., etc. I don't know, it's very beneficial. I've actually seen good benefits from sleep, not eating late, not having your body think that it's daytime, which deals with your circadian rhythm and your metabolism and the enzymes in your system, which send signals to your brain thinking, okay, it's time to work, it must be daytime, stay up. Which is a whole another issue in itself, and other things like that. But I definitely recommend intermittent fasting. Yeah. So, like I said, this was just the first one that I wanted to do. They will be more live. I just wanted to see how this one went. Everything from the top of my head. Like I said, I'm not going to edit anything. It's just going to be raw, how it is. It's going to be up on YouTube, should be up tonight. We'll be on podcasts, Apple, Apple Music, iTunes, Apple Music, yeah. I'm an Android guy, yeah. So, let's see. I tried to have a catchy sign off, and the only thing I could think of, well, can't say it now, but I don't know. How are we gonna end this? So not every episode will be boring, I guess you could say, or like medical or just health related. But I want to have a variety of issues and episodes that we deal with that appeal to everyone. So me talking about your NRF2 pathway and reducing inflammation in your gut microbiome and sulforaphane and NF-kappa B and all that other stuff may not interest you, but you might catch one or two snippets of it that might catch your eye, catch your ear, that make you want to learn about something else. It's a big thing, like I said, with my health issues myself. I wanted to understand why things are happening in my body. So just a better understanding of everything, like what you're putting in your body, like where you're getting it from, organic, GMOs, all that stuff. And that's stuff that I'm kind of just naturally gravitated towards. And I mean, everything from sports to weed to cooking to cars to finding different sources of income, which flip game, thanks to Gary, is real. Mug life. And just other things, man. This is the first one and definitely going to be the worst, but hey, we got to start from somewhere. I said No-Vember. No more Vember. No more excuses. No more BS. God, I want to swear. And just get things done. So, I guess you could say, what next? Yeah? I don't know. No. What next? Next time on What Next? What next? Next. Subscribe, comment, tell me how stupid this was. Leave them all. I love it.